Hi guys, I'm Mona, and I'm here to discuss with you guys about my first vacation, my first trip ever, and my experience about how my wonderful planned vacation almost turned into a disaster. Um, I'm gonna just discuss with you the the interesting, funny part about how everything almost went downhill. I want to talk about the wonderful, great customer service of the woman who worked at Philadelphia International Airport and how she assisted me and how she made my trip what it was. Because without that lady, man, it would have been a mess. But I'll tell you guys about my travel and about how everything was and how everything went, the beautiful island and the scenery and the food in another video, but I just want to talk about this woman and how amazing she was. And I was actually cleaning up my room yesterday and I found something that I'll share later on in the video with you guys. I found it while I was cleaning up and it reminded me of my experience last year. And I actually went on Google to the Philadelphia International Airport and I wrote a long essay about my experience in the reviews as well because I just think this woman is phenomenal. And I hope one day she sees this and she just knows that I love her and I appreciate how she really helped me because without her, it would have went downhill. And I'll explain that to you. So I went to Jamaica and about a year ago, but I planned on going actually 2 years ago. And it all started at my old job, but I always wanted to go to Jamaica as a kid. Like I always was in love with that place. I always wanted to go there. Like my favorite movie is Cool Runnings, and I remember seeing Jamaica and how Stella got her groove back when I was a kid. So I always wanted to go there. Like I always was watching TV and was like, wow, like seeing it on TV and thinking like this place is beautiful. It's amazing. Like I gotta get here one day. One day I gotta get here. I'm gonna get here one day. And I did. I almost didn't get there on time, but I did get there. So when I was working at my old job, me and my coworkers were talking about going, and both of them were from the islands. I think the girl was from Antigua, and my friend Shane, he was from Saint Lucia, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure where the girl was from, but we were talking about going, and everybody was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good trip." So I already booked mine. I found a great deal on Groupon, and I was like, "This is it. I'm gonna do it." And I booked mine first, and I showed them the information, and we were gonna go from there. But unfortunately, I didn't get my passport in time, so I had to cancel the trip, and I was kind of sad. But I didn't get my passport, so I had to cancel it. But fortunately for me, Groupon was able to refund me my money, and they were real efficient and quick in the email. And I was like, thank you. But they was like, yeah, no worries. Here's your refund. And that's why I love Groupon because they they're just awesome. Who doesn't love Groupon? I love Groupon. But I couldn't go, but I still had it in my mind. I'm gonna get there one day. Eventually I'll get there. And I got there the next year. And that year, which was last year, I had a lot of stuff going on. I was real stressed out at the moment. And I had it in my head like, I just need to go somewhere. I need to get away. I need to replenish my energy, refresh my mind, be around good vibes, good people, good scenery. Like, I have to re energize myself and get it a breath of fresh air, if you will. And that Jamaica was the place to go. So I went alone, and every time I tell people this, they're like, "What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? You bugging? Why'd you go out there?" But it's like, no. Like, if your gut is telling you to go, forget what anybody have to say. Sometimes you just have to listen to your gut and your intuition and your guide, your spirit guide, whatever. You have to listen to yourself and move accordingly. Move when it's time for you to go. And I knew at that time it was time for me to go. And that's exactly what I did, and I'm happy I did. So let's get into the story about the airport situation. So I had a connecting flight. I had a flight from Buffalo, New York to Philly, and then from Philly to Jamaica. So my cousin, she drove me to the airport, and she was like, "Call me when you get there. Make sure you call me. You gotta text me, hit me up, anything, so I know, we know you good." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, most definitely, I'll do that." And when I got in the airport, my cousin's wife was actually working there. She actually is the ones that I went through custom with. She's the one that did the little pat down and everything. And she's like, "Where you going? You going back home? Like back from where I'm from?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to Jamaica." She's like, "What?" She's like, "Have fun." Her family's actually from there and stuff. So I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I get from Buffalo to Philly, and I this was my first time going out the country. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this was my first time going out the country. This is my first vacation. This was my first trip. This was my second time on a flight, but my first time going out of the country. So, I'm kind of my first thing to do is if I'm always unsure, I go to someone and I ask questions. That's what we all do. That's what we got to do. So I went to the American Airlines worker and I told him, I showed him my boarding pass and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to Jamaica. Am I sitting in the right sitting area?" Because I saw a sitting area there. And he was like, "Yeah, that's the right area." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I see the other passengers. Everybody has on their vacation outfits, their luggages, and everybody looks like they're ready to go, have a good time. I even looked, there was a screen to the right of me, and the screen had like, "You're headed to paradise," and it had the palm trees and the water and the sand. And I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm almost there. I'm about to be where I always wanted to go." Like, I was just so excited. So I arrived early. I always try to be on time and early. So I arrived early, but time is just ticking. Like, time is going, time is going. So then I even went to ask a couple. I was like, "Hey, you guys headed to Jamaica?" And they were like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." Just to double check that I was in the right spot. So I'm still sitting there, and then I look up, and then in the sitting area there was like a pole with like a sign with a light on it that said B12, and then my ticket said B12. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm in the right spot. I'm good. So I'm still sitting there. Time is getting close to boarding. I think it was like 10 minutes to boarding, and you guys know how it is at the airlines. Like, when it gets to that time, no, we should have definitely been boarding by then. So I'm thinking to myself like, nah, something is off. Something is off. And I immediately got up, like, I was so frantic. Like, I got up and I just ran. I just ran, and I remember running down to the ramp. And I was just, my heart was racing. I was like, "Excuse me, I need help. I think I'm in the wrong spot. My flight is supposed to be boarding now." And then the lady's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 wait. You're not supposed to be down here. You could get arrested. That's illegal." I guess the place where I ran down on the ramp, after it closes or something like that, you could go to jail for running down there for some reason. But she was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, no, You can go to jail. You that's I was like, I understand, but I just need help. I think I missed my flight, or I'm not sure. I just need help. And here comes the amazing woman, Miss. I don't remember her name. I just know, um, she looked like an African American woman, but she had a Hispanic last name. It was either Santiago or it was Sanchez. It was one of the two. But she had like two last names. So I think her maiden name, her first last name was Sanchez or Santiago, and then she had her last name. But she comes over to me. She comes over to us, and she was like, her coworker was like, "Hey, can you help her? Cause she's running down on the ramp and she can go to jail and get arrested." So I'm gonna just call her Miss S because I'm not sure if it was Sanchez or Santiago. I know it was definitely a last name of Hispanic descent, but I don't remember if it was Sanchez or Santiago. So I'm gonna just call her Miss S for the video. So Miss S was like, "Yeah, honey, you can't run down there. They'll throw you in jail." And I was like, "I'm sorry. I think I missed my flight." And she was like, "Let me see your boarding pass." So I was like, I was sitting right here and it said B12 and my ticket says B12. And she was like, "Oh no, sweetie, that's your that's your that's your flight seat. That's not where your sitting seat where you're supposed to be sitting at." And I was like, "Oh my God." And she was like, "Oh," she was like, "Honey, I'm feeling for you. I'm sorry." She's like, "Don't worry." She said, "We gonna try to get you on that flight." So the woman's like, "I think they left already." So she's calling and she's paging somebody like, "Hey, did flight whatever leave?" So I don't think she got through to anybody, but she's like, "Come on, we gonna she was like, "Come on, hop in." You know the little driving carts in the airport. She was like, "Come on, hop in." And I was like, "All right." So she's just going, but she driving fast but efficiently as ever. Like we just like zoom. So she was like, "Come on." She's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna try to get you there. I'm gonna try to do what I can." So we get there. Unfortunately, my flight already took off, and then my heart just sank. Like I was like, "This can't be happening right now. Like this is my first vacation. I can't believe this is happening to me right now." And especially I was on time and everything. I couldn't believe it. I was so heartbroken and so sad. So she was like, "Look, honey," she was like, "I'm feeling for you. My heart is feeling for you." But she was like, "Look," she was like, "I'm gonna try to get you." I think we have one more flight leaving to Montego Bay. She was like, "There should be one more leaving in 2 hours. I'm gonna try to get you on that one. I'm gonna rock with you. I'm gonna be with you." So I was like, "All right." So she's like, "Hop on in." So we got back in the car again. We cruising down. We get to another side of the airport, and she spoke to the woman. She was like, "Look, she just missed her flight. Can you look and see if you can get her a flight going to Montego Bay?" So the woman, she wasn't too nice. Like she had a face on like I don't care, like whatever. So Miss S was kind of, I guess, went to talk to her coworkers, but she kind of stepped off. But she was like, "Don't worry, honey, I'm not gonna leave you. I'm gonna stay with you to the end. I'm gonna be right here." So she went off a bit, and I was like, "Okay, cool." So I'm talking to the lady. So then the lady's like, "No, we don't have anything." And then this is the thing I was talking about. She gave me this. Like, she gave me this paper. This is the paper I found yesterday, and this is the paper that reminded me of it. I'm like, and this, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, she's like, "We don't have a flight." She said, "Here," and gave me this. She's like, "Here you go." This, I'm like, "What is that?" She's like, "This is for a hotel. They're 50% off. We don't have any more flights going out. You can stay in a hotel for the night and come back here in the morning." So I'm like, really? Like, my heart sank again because I was low on cash. I think I had like $500 for spending. So if I would have had to take a hotel, that's $80, and then probably $40 to the hotel. And 40, it would have messed up my money. And then not only that, it's not like I had a week in Jamaica. I had about 4 days and 3 nights. So that would have bring it down to 2 days or something. And I'm like, yo, like, for real, I can't believe this right now. And then not only that, but I had a driver waiting for me in Jamaica to pick me up. So I was like, I can't believe this right now. Like, I just called the hotel and I told the lady in Jamaica, like, hey, my flight's leaving. I'll be there soon. So she was going to send the driver to me. And so that means I lost my money with a driver. I have to pay for a hotel. Like, I felt like there was no point in even going at that point. I was just like, wow. So I'm like, okay. And I walk away like I'm looking like a sad puppy. And then Miss S is like, what's wrong, baby? What's wrong? And I'm like, she doesn't have anything. And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not even from Philly. Like, I can't, I'm gonna stay tonight. Like, I was just like a wreck. Like, I was thinking about sleeping in the airport, to be honest. She was like, no. She was like, I think there gotta be one. I think there's one coming from Miami. She's like, gotta be one more flight. It has to be one. So I'm like, she went back over there and spoke to the lady, and all of a sudden a seat appeared, and the whole time Miss S was there, but a seat magically appeared, and she gave me the ticket, and then Miss S, I just remember like, like the angels or something appeared. Like I remember feeling like, oh my God, like, and then Miss S is like, see, baby, she was like, that's God working for you. She was like, you a child of God, and I am too. And she was like, God will always make a way. And I was just like, yo, this lady is phenomenal. She was just giving me the talk and the motivation I needed, especially I was alone. And I really felt like that lady was there for me and she made it happen for me. So she's like, come on, your flight. She said, let's get back and drive down. So we got back in the little car and we cruising. And she was like, nah, I'm going to take you to where you need to go. She was like, and stay right here. She was like, your flight coming 2 hours. Stay right here. Don't move. Don't get up. Don't do nothing. I was like, I got you. I'm not going nowhere. Thank you. But I just wanted to share this with you guys about how amazing she was. And fortunately, I waited 2 hours. I was able to contact the driver back in Jamaica and tell him like, hey, I'm sorry I missed the flight, but I'm coming now. I got there, he was there for me, and then I ended up having a phenomenal trip. But I just wanted to share this story about this amazing woman, and I hope she sees this video. I hope somebody that works there sees this, or one of her bosses, one of the managers, because she was phenomenal. Like, she deserves an award. Like, you don't meet amazing people like that often. Like, people that's gonna want to help you and people that's gonna want to look out for you and be there for you. Like, she could have been like the other lady that told me no, like, no, we don't have it. Sorry, get the hotel. But she didn't do that. Like, she was real genuine and she was amazing. Like, if I see this lady again, I hope I do. If I see her again, I would just want to give her the biggest hug ever and thank her so much, because without this woman, I would have been messed up. My whole trip would have been messed up. So I just say that to say this. There's still amazing, wonderful angels in the world that will really look out and be there. So I'll share more with you guys about the trip and everything in another video, maybe. But I just wanted to share that story with you about how amazing that woman was.